It's no secret that Warner Brothers, like the majority of fans, have given up on the DC Extended Universe in order to reimagine superhero IP.
Oh my God! Flash!
Hi.
I love you!
Thank you.
Patching you into Mr. Wayne.
They cut off the Zack Snyderverse and appointed James Gunn as co-CEO of DC Studios. For a tax break, they murdered Batgirl and put her 6 feet under. Black Adam and Shazam, their most recent releases, Fury of the Gods, failed to impress audiences or critics. The Flash, a standalone movie, has been dogged by polarized audiences as well as numerous scandals, and allegations involving star Ezra Miller is now the studio's top summer pick. The final film of Zack Snyder's DCEU, starring Ezra Miller, finally arrived in theaters after months of anticipation. James Gunn and Tom Cruise had both promoted the film, which was expected to be a huge success. No matter how much money was spent on the film's production, marketing, or hype, the franchise was left with nothing but a huge letdown. The good news is that the DC's latest stinks. For those who are debating whether to boycott it or support it financially, save your money. The film serves as evidence that the franchise has outlived its prime. One user, IMDb user Captain Cabeza, said, "Insultingly bad." Another said, "If I could rate 0, I would." Followed by hundreds of others describing the movie as an utter disappointment and a loss of faith in DC movies. So, what are the reasons behind these bad reviews from DC devotees? Well, it's simply because the movie stinks. Bringing us to the topic of today's video, why The Flash sucks. So, without further ado, let's delve into it. The first reason is that The Flash is delivering a broken multiverse adventure. Doctor Strange and Spider-Man have been looped into the Marvel Multiverse. The inventive way in which Everything Everywhere All at Once incorporated this complex idea earned it the Best Picture Oscar. Following closely behind both of these and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, The Flash is arriving late and covering ground we've already seen a lot of times, and badly at that. Barry the Flash Allen, played by Ezra Miller, has his own solo adventure after adding some much-needed humor to the Justice League. It has a plot hole and is blatantly stupid, but hey, the studio used it as a way to subtly promote the other DC films they have available for streaming on Max. Is this the rationale behind their decision to proceed with the release, despite the ongoing criticism of Miller's ostensible platforming, or at least financial reward? Barry, the lonely, unappreciated janitor of the Justice League, accidentally travels through time by running extremely quick. Barry now has a brilliant idea. He queries Batman, a worn-out Ben Affleck, as to whether he believes Barry would be able to flee quickly enough to return to his early years and prevent his mother's murder, sparing him and his wrongfully imprisoned father a great deal of suffering. Batman declines, but Barry decides to go through with it anyway with a little accidental assistance from his barely there love interest, Iris West. We might elaborate on the surprisingly crucial role tomato sauce and spaghetti noodles play in a time-travel storyline, but we've endured enough of it ourselves. Save yourself the trouble. Frankly, it's difficult to be invested when this film puts in excessive effort without delivering much genuinely intriguing content. The second reason is Barry Allen himself. Miller's Flash was a funny foil with kid brother energy in Justice League, pitting him against a growling Batman, a high-chinned Wonder Woman, a brooding Cyborg, and a surly Aquaman. By the end of the necessary action sequence in the first act, he is a hyperactive fest who is a chore. He's embarrassingly clumsy. He needs approval so bad. Then he encounters a less insecure but no less exhausting version of himself who's running around like a puppy who's been given rocket fuel. Original Barry straightens up when he is literally forced to face himself and tries to act like an adult. Although there are numerous exposition dumps to help viewers remember plot details from a variety of other movies, the two Barrys' constant bickering about everything from battle strategies to home decor manages to make this 2-hour 24-minute film feel even longer. The effects team deserves praise for transforming Patty Duke's Miller into two characters who are constantly interacting, touching, and exchanging the screenplay's relentless banter. But Double the Flash is too much by half. The third is the Flash's pathetic attempt at comedy. The hard but unsteady lean into comedy by director Andy Muschietti only serves to exacerbate the migraine-inducing situation. The Argentinian director gained notoriety for a series of terrifying movies, including Mama, It, and It Chapter 2. Though comedy is not Muschietti's strong suit, you can see hints of this horror background in some of the film's gorier effects, such as when time travel stretches Barry's mouth in an Attack on Titan fashion, Physical slapstick plays a little weirdly gross, like when Barry loses a tooth and the other Barry accidentally swallows it, and it takes too long to set up because of egregious slow-mo effects. Ironically, the movie moves at an astonishingly slow pace the entire time. On this side of the Marvel-DC divide, the magic created when X-Men Days of Future Past gave us a fast-paced fun of Quicksilver's run is not replicated. While his slow-motion rescues are laced with absurd displays of dexterity and ingenuity, the Flash's running is unspectacular and lacks any sense of humor. In a scene to keep these cooing skydivers from being trampled, stabbed, or ignited by debris, Barry is forced to dash about in an excessively drawn-out, slow-mo action sequence. It's meant to be funny, and it does sound pretty funny, right? However, there is a winking cynicism at work here that relies on nostalgia while also taking everything too far. After all, haven't we grown tired of all this recycled superhero showbiz by now? Here, the monotony of these repetitions is literally made into a plot and driven into the earth like a defeated hero. This cynicism may have been unavoidable given that The Flash is less of a film and more of a massive marketing initiative to revive interest in current and upcoming DCEU films. The more things change, the more they stay the same. The hype and effects are the final and most important factors. Keaton is not the only one featured to evoke nostalgia. We'll not give anything away other than to say that The Flash realizes it cannot rely solely on its own idea, which feels stale, even though it is an adaptation of the 2011's Flashpoint. It cannot rely on Miller's chaotic charm, and it gives newcomer Sasha Calle too little time to make an impression as a character who is primarily presented here as a mirror of an already established hero. Bless him for all that, but Keaton also brings the sex appeal and electrifying charisma that made him famous in the 1980s. But in this instance, his Batman essentially serves as a sidekick and only appears an hour into the film, which is both too late and too little to save the movie. With The Flash, director Muschietti jammed the screen with celebrities, jokes, action, and so many DC exposition dumps that you might start yearning for the days when a movie only asked you to know its plot and not the dozens that came before. However, this movie is a mess amid all of the spectacle stuff and waves upon waves of fantastic to genuinely uncanny CGI action. The Flash tries to satisfy ostensible studio requirements, fanatical cynicism, gnawing nostalgia, and the increasingly impossible task of finding something new to say while repeating the same stories, but fails miserably at all of them. As a result, Ezra Miller's The Flash has been underwhelming at the box office, earning only $202 million globally despite only managing to live up to its hype in the first weekend of release. It dropped like 72% after its release, according to Wrap. Well, that's it for now. Make sure that you like our video. Please share your views and opinions in the comment section with us. Subscribe to the channel to get updated regularly with the latest news and reviews on upcoming movies from us, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Thanks for watching, we'll see you at the next one.